SMLE Mark III carbine, mag fed, and the Car98K shell ejecting gas powered. With the SMLE, you can expect to achieve anywhere from 300 to 450 FPS. Most of that will depend on the temperature and some adjustments that you can do to the valve on the magazine. The magazine holds 6 rounds, and while that may not seem enough, it's actually 1 shot more than the Car98 holds. It is powered on the 12-gram CO2 bulbs like these Crossmans here, which you simply slide off the magazine plate with and then insert them into the magazine and then slide the magazine plate back on. When you want to load the magazine, you pull down the spring on the side like so, and then you feed your gel balls through the front here. As always, one of those injection speed loaders would probably be the best option for you, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can hand load it if you need to. I have found that you need to grow your gels to be at around 2.5 to 3 hours if you're using ultras. If you're using the AKA gels, stick to the Tenacity version 2 model of those gels. They function perfectly fine at a 4-hour grow time in this particular model. The SMLE has a brass butt plate which actually opens up with a cavity there that you can hold your oils in for a real version of the firearm. It has a safety up the top there behind the bolt. You will notice it's not a full action, and a little bit at the rear does stick out when it is charged and ready to fire. It's also worth noting that you can't remove the magazine or put the magazine into the SMLE while the bolt is in. It has to be fully drawn back, and then you can take the magazine out, refill it, etc., and then put it back in. The SMLE also has all the traditional hardware, including a proper bayonet mount. It is fairly nice, and to be completely honest with you, as I'll get to shortly, it is my pick of the two for a very, very good reason. This Lee Enfield can be picked up exclusively through M4A1 gel blasters, which operate in Queensland, and they are also available on their website, which I will happily put in a link below the video description. The Car98K is another full wood and metal gas sniper. However, this one operates on the Predator Ultra Gas by Abbey, which I've seen to find the best results. I did use the Brute Sniper Gas for a while, but I was informed by the man himself, Cam, that it doesn't really contain much lubricant, and I did not notice much of a drop in performance when I changed to the Ultra Gas at all. So in the best interests of longevity for your rifle, my advice would be to stick with the Abbey Predator Ultra Gas and stay away from the Brute Sniper Rifle Gas, unless you are proficient and intend to do your own maintenance and lubrication in between games. Car98K features the traditional eyed sights, as well as a mounting bracket on the side of the rifle for a sight, which will fit the D-Boys, Double Bell or GNG car sight mount, all of which are out of stock all over the world, no matter where I've looked. You can modify some other stuff to make do on that space, like an AK sight with a bit of welding, but not many of you are going to be interested in that. The cleaning rod on the end of the Car98K is actually not an official cleaning rod. It simply screws in and screws out. I found it's quite bendy, so be very careful with it as well. It does have the mounts for the official and traditional straps for the Car98K, like the leather belt system that runs through the stock and up to the front near the muzzle. It only holds 5 shells. You could chamber a 6th shell if you would like. However, it only comes with the 5 shells to begin with. And though I don't have an example to show you here, for a reason unforeseen, which I'll explain in a minute, sometimes the ends of the shells can bend if the extractor on the car does not do the job and you are cycling it too quickly. The Car98K has a full metal bolt, which is also removable by simply pulling it up here and back, like so. The bolt has a safety on it, which will only work when the bolt has been charged already, which is understandable. There's no need for a safety when it hasn't been charged, but at the same time, peace of mind would tell you that you should really just be able to activate the safety whenever you need to. I did find that the rear attachment of this was rather loose. You will find that this will push all the way out when it's charged and in, and when you fire it, it will push down and release as well. Similar to the way that the bolt on the SMLE works. Trigger response on both models is exceptional. However, as I'm about to explain, I did run into a problem on the Kar98K, which is going to result in me attempting to return it for a refund. And my final choice is going to have to be the SMLE from M4A1, simply because higher shot capacity, quicker action on the bolt. Yes, it's CO2, but there's nothing stopping you from retrofitting a ANT HPA CO2 bulb unit into the magazine, which will also allow you to up the FPS. Now, the last thing I'd probably mention is the FPS. Was very surprised with the performance of the Predator Ultra Gas in the Kar98K. Was definitely getting a consistent 400 to 450 out of the first 15 shells, after which it definitely dropped significantly and ran out not long after. The other thing I found is that sometimes a little extra gas would seep out of the bolt after you pulled the trigger on the car. My guess would be some general maintenance on the bolt in between games would probably not go astray, but because it was under warranty, I chose not to open it up. As for the SMLE, no leaks in between, no leaking CO2 at all, no issues like we've had with other models that have come through M4A1 in the past in their early days. Having been privy to the arrival of this since June of 2020, I knew that the delays were only because they were really fine-tuning the way that the magazines work. Unfortunately, we don't get the option of having something that can hold a higher capacity than that, but if you're running as a sniper and you do intend to use this, or if you're a reenactor, that's more than enough. It might not be the full 10 rounds that the SMLE is supposed to hold in real life, but 6 is better than 5, and it's certainly better than 1. I ran into a pretty serious problem with the car. Not only did I have some damage to one of my shells because the extractor refused to release it, when I recycled and attempted to pull it again, it snapped right here. And now that's gone, and there is a shell that is stuck in the chamber, which won't allow me to feed further shells up, and there's no way to simply remove it, not to mention that even if I do, this little piece here is not easily replaceable. I could replace the whole item, or maybe VAS will bring in replacement bolts at some point in the future. They're no different to the airsoft bolts, and they're easy to get still, so he could do that, which I would recommend. However, for me, that makes the choice easier, which is to simply get my money back and stick with the quality product.